Okay, so you've probably seen some of the fan videos making a compare contrast between the similarities, at least in certain photographs, mainly I think the way that they're artistically styled between Louis and David Bowie, Harry and Mick Jagger. Bowie and Jagger were rumored for a while. It's kind of a bit of its own underground enduring the rumor that Mick Jagger and David Bowie had a love affair, and David Bowie's first wife, Angela, had said that she caught them together. So people make analogies with Larry and Bowie and Jagger, kind of insinuating that there was a love that could not speak its name. But I was more interested in the parallels between Louis Tomlinson and David Bowie, who, if we take the Larry thing out of it, we take Harry out of it, there's some interesting musical journeys and artistic parallels with those two alone. So, how does this work? Well, what did I kind of uncover? And again, I didn't do some deep dive research to the extent that I went through old abstracts and old publications of articles. I just sort of hodgepodge put some stuff together because I'd been thinking about this a while. Because despite emerging from different eras and musical landscapes, Louis Tomlinson and David Bowie share surprising parallels in their artistic journeys. While Bowie rose to prominence in the glam rock era of the 1970s, and Tomlinson found fame with the pop phenomenon One Direction in the 2010s, both artists have demonstrated remarkable resilience, a creative vision, and a business acumen throughout their careers. So, thought we'd explore the unexpected similarities between these two British musicians, one a legendary innovator whose influence spans decades, the other a contemporary artist carving his own path after achieving unprecedented success as part of a global phenomenon. From their approaches to songwriting to their business decisions and artistic evolution, Tomlinson and Bowie revealed interesting parallels despite their different musical contexts. So both Louis Tomlinson and David Bowie came from modest backgrounds outside the traditional music industry power centers. David Jones, later known as David Bowie, was born in Brixton, London, in 1947 to a working class family. His father worked as a promotions officer for a children's charity, while his mom was a cinema usherette. Growing up in the post-war era, young David was drawn to music early, teaching himself saxophone and forming his first band at just 15. Before achieving success, Bowie worked various jobs and experienced numerous false starts and commercial failures, releasing several singles and his debut album to little fanfare. Similarly, Louis Tomlinson was born in Doncaster, South Yorkshire in 1991. Raised by a single mom who worked as a nurse and later as a midwife, Tomlinson grew up in a blended family with numerous siblings. Before his X Factor audition in 2010, Tomlinson had limited musical training but possessed natural talent and determination. He worked ordinary jobs, including at a cinema and as a waiter, while performing in local productions and attending acting school. It's these humble origins that instilled in both artists a work ethic and practical approach to their careers that would later prove valuable as they navigated the business side of music. For both artists, a pivotal transformation marked the beginning of their most significant commercial success. David Bowie struggled to find his artistic voice through the 1960s, experimenting with various styles without significant commercial breakthrough. Everything changed in 1972 with the creation of his alien alter ego Ziggy Stardust and the release of The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. This concept album catapulted Bowie to superstardom and established him as a visionary artist. The decision to create Ziggy was both artistic and strategic. Bowie understood the power of visual presentation and persona in connecting with audiences. For Louis Tomlinson, the transformative moment came when he auditioned as a solo contestant on The X Factor in 2010, but was combined with four other young singers to form One Direction. Though initially disappointed at not continuing as a solo artist, this pivot proved extraordinarily fortunate. One Direction became one of the most commercially successful boy bands in history, selling over 70 million records worldwide and generating billions in revenue through tours, merchandise, and endorsements. Both artists embraced unexpected opportunities that fundamentally altered their career trajectories, demonstrating adaptability and an openness to reinvention that would become hallmarks of their artistic journeys. So, contrary to the stereotype of artists being detached from business matters, both Tomlinson and Bowie have demonstrated exceptional business intelligence throughout their careers. David Bowie wasn't just a musical innovator, but a financial one as well. In 1997, he pioneered Bowie Bonds, becoming the first musician to securitize the future royalties of his catalog. This financial innovation raised $55 million upfront by selling the rights to future royalties from his pre-1990 catalog to investors. This move demonstrated remarkable foresight and understanding the intrinsic value of his music catalog decades before such deals became common in the industry. Bowie also showed business acumen by founding his own internet service provider, BowieNet, in 1998, recognizing the internet's potential for connecting with fans directly, when many artists were still skeptical of digital platforms. Throughout his career, he maintained significant control over his publishing rights and master recordings, ensuring he benefited financially from his creative work. Similarly, Louis Tomlinson has made savvy business moves that demonstrate his understanding of the industry beyond performing. In 2015, he formed Triple Strings Limited, his own music company, giving him greater control over his solo projects. When Triple Strings merged with 78 Productions Limited in 2017, it showed Tomlinson's strategic thinking about business infrastructure. Tomlinson attempted to co-own the Doncaster Rovers Football Club for a period and established his own management company. In 2023, he launched his own festival, the Away From Home Festival, creating an event that aligned with his artistic vision while building a new revenue stream and platform for promoting emerging artists. Both musicians understood that creative control requires business control, and both actively shaped the business context in which their art existed, rather than simply creating within established frameworks. Despite operating in different eras and genres, both artists share similarities in their approach to songwriting, particularly in their authenticity and willingness to explore emotional vulnerability. David Bowie's songwriting often incorporated personal experiences while simultaneously adopting personas and characters. Songs like Life on Mars exhibit complex narrative structures and vivid imagery, while tracks like Heroes demonstrated his ability to weave intimate emotional moments into larger conceptual frameworks. His collaboration with producers like Tony Visconti and Brian Eno helped shape his sound, but Bowie remained the creative director of his musical vision. Louis Tomlinson's songwriting evolution shows similar characteristics. After the highly produced pop of One Direction, Tomlinson's solo work has embraced a more authentic, emotionally direct approach. Songs like Two of Us, addressing the loss of his mother, reveal personal vulnerability, while his overall songwriting demonstrates a preference for guitar-driven arrangements and narrative storytelling. Like Bowie, Tomlinson works with collaborators but maintains creative control over his musical direction. Both artists use songwriting as a means of processing personal experiences while creating work that resonates universally. They share an understanding that emotional authenticity creates the strongest connection with audiences, even when wrapped in different stylistic packages. Both Tomlinson and Bowie have fought for artistic independence throughout their careers, though in different industry contexts. David Bowie famously took creative control of his career after early experiences with management and label restrictions. From the 1970s onward, he made decisive creative choices about his image, sound, and collaborations. He frequently changed musical directions at the height of success with particular styles, abandoning the Ziggy Stardust persona at its peak of popularity exploring electronic music with his Berlin trilogy when rock was still dominant, and continuing to experiment throughout his career. This pattern shows an artist who prioritized creative exploration over commercial safety. Louis Tomlinson's journey toward creative control has been equally determined, though in a different era. After One Direction's hiatus in 2016, he initially pursued a more commercial pop and EDM direction, with singles like Back to You and Just Hold On. However, he later acknowledged this wasn't authentic to his artistic vision. With his debut album Walls in 2020, and especially Faith in the Future in 2022, Tomlin embraced a more guitar-driven Britpop influenced sound that better reflected his personal taste and artistic goals. In numerous interviews, Tomlinson has spoken about fighting for his authentic sound against industry pressure to continue in a more mainstream pop direction. He chose to sign with an independent label, BMG, for his second album, rather than remain with a major label, prioritizing creative control over maximum commercial support. Both artists demonstrate that true artistic expression often requires wrestling control from industry frameworks that prioritize commercial predictability over creative exploration. Both Tomlinson and Bowie have cultivated unique relationships with their audiences, recognizing fans as essential partners in their artistic journeys. David Bowie maintained a special connection with his fan base despite his enigmatic personas. He understood that his audience sought not just entertainment, but meaning and permission to explore their own identities through his work. Bowie created spaces, conceptually and literally, at his performances, where outsiders felt welcome, where experimentation was celebrated, and where conventional boundaries could be questioned. His relationship with fans was based on mutual respect for intelligence and curiosity. Louis Tomlinson has similarly developed a distinctive relationship with his audience. From One Direction to his solo career, he's maintained an unusually egalitarian approach to fan interaction. His Away From Home festival explicitly aims to create affordable, accessible experiences for fans, while his tour scheduling frequently includes markets often skipped by artists of his profile. Tomlinson regularly acknowledges the role his fan base plays in enabling his independence and supporting his authentic artistic direction. Both artists recognize that audiences are not just consumers, but communities that develop around artistic work. And both have respected the intelligence and dedication of their fans, rather than taking them for granted. Perhaps the most profound similarity between these artists is their resilience in the face of personal and professional challenges. David Bowie navigated numerous industry changes, from vinyl to digital streaming, while maintaining relevance. He overcame personal struggles with addiction in the 1970s and survived a heart attack in 2004. Throughout these challenges, he continued creating innovative work, culminating in his final album, Black Star, released just 2 days before his death in 2016, a carefully orchestrated final artistic statement. Louis Tomlinson has demonstrated comparable resilience through profound personal tragedy. In just 3 years, he lost his mother to leukemia in 2016 and his 18-year-old sister to an accidental overdose in 2019. These devastating losses occurred while he was also navigating the transition from global pop star to independent solo artist, a challenging professional evolution under any circumstances. Rather than retreating, Tomlinson channeled these experiences into his music while continuing to perform, record, and build his independent career. Songs like Two of Us address grief directly, while its overall approach reflects a determined optimism despite adversity. Both artists demonstrate that creative work can be both an expression of and a response to life's challenges, and both have used music as a means of processing and transcending difficult experiences. While David Bowie and Louis Tomlinson emerged from different musical eras and achieved fame through different paths, their careers reveal striking parallels in their approach to artistry, business, and audience connection. Both transcend humble beginnings through a combination of talent, perseverance, and strategic thinking. Both have fought for creative independence and maintained artistic authenticity despite industry pressures. Both have demonstrated remarkable resilience through personal and professional challenges. These similarities remind us that beneath the surface differences of musical style and historical context, The core elements of a sustainable artist's career remain consistent: creative integrity, business awareness, genuine connection with audiences, and the resilience to continue creating through adversity. In their respective eras, both Bowie and Tomlinson exemplify the artist who maintains creative vision while navigating the complex realities of the music industry, reminding us that lasting artistic impact requires not just talent, but tenacity, not just creativity, but courage. And that's why I call him Louis the Lionheart. Now, I remember all the different variations of David Bowie, and it was it was bittersweet that he had one album, the final album, and he only had 2 days to enjoy it. It's almost as if David Bowie knew, and there was sort of this instinctive intuition that he tuned into what was going to be in his favor and acted on it. Uh, he trusted himself, and I think that that is also a hallmark of Louis. It does blow my mind how in some of the stylistic photographs that people have collected and put into collages over the years, how much they look alike. And I don't know if that's the photographer, but yeah,